Bob Papa along with Teddy Atlas, and we are getting set for tonight's main event at stake, the IBF Flyweight Championship. Irene Pacheco will defend his title against Los Angeles' Pedro Pena. That coming up in tonight's main event here on Friday Night Fights. Well, at 112 pounds, not known about these two young men. Let's take a closer look at the main event. Tonight, the IBF Flyweight Championship is at stake. 112 pounds. Irene Pacheco is the reigning world champion. This Colombian native is 23-0 with 18 knockouts. He has won 12 consecutive bouts by way of knockout. And tonight, he makes his second title defense. Pacheco first won the championship in April of last year in his native Colombia. A 9th round TKO against Luis Cox. The title was vacant, but when the night was over, it was Pacheco's. On October the 16th, he made his first defense, also in Colombia. And again, Pacheco was dominant in picking up a 4th round stoppage. Tonight, he must get past Los Angeles' own Pedro Pena. The 21-year-old is 16-0 with 8 knockouts and is surprised that he's getting a world championship shot this early in his career. But Pena has paid his dues. He's ranked number 2 by the IBF. Pena is a man who is aggressive. He comes from outstanding pedigree as well. His father, Roberto Garcia, was a professional boxer. Pena realizes he'll have to call upon all of his skills against the talented Pacheco.
If I have to, I'll stay right there and slug with him, you know? But I gotta use angles with that, you know? I can't stay in front of him, you know, but I have to move angle from angle, you know? And that's the key to beating him.
Sí, ya he visto varios.
I saw tapes of him. I know he's a very tough and very strong fighter. He came to you as a coming-in fighter, but this time he's gonna face a fighter like me, a great champion, and I think I'm gonna stop it before the tournament.
He's the best 112 pounder, and he's a great champion. That's why if I want to be the best, then I gotta fight the best. And I think he's the best flyweight in the world right now.
Interestingly enough, neither of these two has even had 100 rounds of boxing in their professional careers. Styles make fights. Some interesting things to look at tonight between Pacheco and Pena and how they'll go about their business. Let's take a closer look in Atlas's world.
In the second defense of his IBF flyweight crown, Irene Pacheco of Colombia has the overall offensive edge. I rate him the better jabber, the harder puncher, and the superior counter-puncher over Pedro Pena. Watch here as Pacheco lands a stinging right jab, setting the table for an accurate straight left. Again, Pacheco's jab finds its range, setting up his left hand, which causes an early night for his opponent for the 18th knockout in 23 fights. Pacheco throws effective combinations which land with both power and precision. Like a cash register, he keeps ringing up points on his scorecard. And if Pena does try to press, then he'll feel the power of Pacheco's left uppercut to the body. Defensively, I rate the undefeated Pacheco with the edge here as well. Watch how movement of his head frustrates his opponent, but it also sets up his offense, allowing him to counter. Perhaps Pena's best chance lies with his ability to score with flurries to the body and head, then use his legs to get out of Pacheco's range. The intangibles for this fight will include how Pena can handle Pacheco's southpaw style and overall strength and experience. My prediction, Pena will leave with his first loss.
All right, that is the breakdown from Teddy Atlas. Now, Teddy, Pacheco is the champion, but he has not even gone the full distance in any fight. Both of these guys are sort of untested, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. That's a funny thing. Both of these guys have not been in there with really tough or top opposition. So there's some questions about both guys. But the difference, I think, here is Pacheco's more of the man, and Pena is more of the kid. And I think just the maturity of what I've seen, at least, of Pacheco could be the difference in this fight.
You know, I was talking with Juan Lorena. He does the broadcast back to the Latin American countries. He did each of Pacheco's last 2 bouts. He said this guy could be as good as anybody in the world. It's just he's fighting in anonymity at 112 pounds, but he feels that he's got a lot of power and a lot of strength, and it should be interesting to see how Pacheco uses that against Pena.
Yes, and I think Pena, what he's going to have to do is he's going to have to make an adjustment. pointed out very well before, that Pena's been in there with the kind of guys he could do what he wanted to. So he's been pressing. Tonight, you know what? He's going to have to do a facelift. He's going to have to box. He's going to have to really show that he has versatility. I think if you use your legs with Pacheco, that's the way to go.
All right, for the introductions, here's our ring announcer for tonight, Mark Biro.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Don Haskins Center in El Paso, Texas, Cedric Kushner Promotions in association with MCM Promotions and Miller Beer presents the ESPN2 Friday Night Fights main event of the evening, 12 rounds for the IBF Flyweight Championship of the world. Ring officials assigned by the International Boxing Federation, President Hiawatha Knight, Supervisor in attendance, Walter R. Stone. Your judges at ringside this evening, from Cartagena, Colombia, Raimundo Alcazar. From Dubuque, Iowa, David Hess. And from Houston, Texas, Ronnie Ralston. Your referee for this event, from Houston as well, Robert Gonzalez. Introducing now the principals. First in the red corner to my right, wearing the purple trunks with the silver sequin trim. He weighs in at 112 pounds with a professional record of 16 victories, no defeats, and 8 wins coming by way of knockout. El Hijo de Colima, Mexico, now making his home in Los Angeles, Florida, Los Angeles, California, rated number 2 in the world by the IBF, former 2-time USBA flyweight champion, and the challenger, Pedro Dangerous Pena. His opponent in the blue corner, wearing the red trunks and weighing in at 111 3/4 pounds with a professional record of 23 victories, no defeats, and 18 wins coming by way of knockout. El Hijo de San Juan de Uraba, Colombia, the IBF flyweight champion of the world, Irene Mambaco Pacheco. Pacheco, 12 rounds for the IBF flyweight championship of the world.
Let's take a look at the rules. The unified rules will be used for tonight's title fight, and they are as follows. No 3 knockdown rule. No standing 8 count. Fighter cannot be saved with the bell in any round. Only the referee, Robert Gonzalez, can stop it. Accidental cuts, they'll go to the scorecards after 4 rounds are complete. Had an interesting subplot. Pena to your left was a little late getting his gloves on, so you wonder how warmed up he is. There was a bit of a delay. He was told that he would fight after the Swindell Purity fight. There was no swing bout because of the time frame on the East Coast, trying to get the fight to East Coast viewers before it gets too late. So you wonder if the young Pena's warmed up enough.
Good point. And on top of that, what really hurts him is he's, what you just said, the young Pena. He's the guy who's the challenger. He is going into this first experience of this kind, and something has to go wrong on top of it. That could add to his problems.
Irene Pacheco has won 12 straight by way of knockout. 22 of his 23 bouts have taken place in Colombia, 1 in Venezuela. He's never been past 9 rounds. He says he trained for 12. There's nothing he can do if the bouts end early. That's a confident young man.
Just looking at Pena, he looks tight.
Pena, on the other hand, did not go to Big Bear where he normally trains. He stayed at home, very focused. And he gets the opportunity of a lifetime to fight for the IBF championship. Pena in the purple, Pacheco in the red.
First of all, Pacheco came out as an orthodox fighter. Now he went back to what he is, southpaw.
Pena, in preparation, worked with Jose Navarro, who is the U.S. amateur champion at 112 pounds and is a southpaw. Spent 60 rounds of sparring with Navarro. Take a look at the knockout ratio. Pacheco, 78%, 18 of 23 knockout wins. And for Pena, 8 of 16, 50%.
one of the problems for Pena here, Bob, I believe is going to be is the level of opposition he's been fighting. Even though the champion hasn't fought tremendous opposition, he's the champion. I think he's a more mature guy. Pena's been used to being able to press guys. I don't think he's going to be able to press Pacheco. I think he's going to have to show an ability to get in and get out, not just press forward. I think the other guy's a little bit too strong for that. The funny thing is Pena's the bigger guy, but I think Pacheco's the stronger guy. Pena, the heaviest, has been 127 pounds. Been over 115 pounds 5 times. Pacheco's never been over 115 pounds.
Pena's last fight was in August in Louisiana. 5th round technical win against Mariano Gonzalez. He won the vacant USBA flyweight title. Pena was cut on the right eyebrow from an accidental clash of heads. Says that is fine. It is healed well.
The advantage Pena has in this fight, or may have, it has to be proven, is his speed and his versatility to get off and get out. He can't stay there too long. He's going to have to make a choice of what the right amount of punches is, Bob. 2 or 3 and get out. If he stays there for the 4th, that might be the end of the night. If he doesn't, he might pull an upset off.
Teddy, is ring size a factor? 18 feet by 18 feet inside the ropes, not a big ring, but when you got guys that are 112 pounds, it makes the ring even bigger.
Yeah, it does. That's a good point. I think that it's a little bit of a factor the way Pena's fighting. He looks like he's going to use his legs in spots. And as the fight goes on, he might need that bigger ring. So I don't think he minds having a little room. As you said, the smaller guys, they don't need as much room. They don't take up as much space. So this is fine. This is plenty of room for these little fellas. Pena, right now, you can see the fight plan, Bob. Real simple. He's going to get off, he's going to get out. He doesn't want to stay there too long. I think he's trying to show Pacheco by fighting him close that, hey, I'll fight you, I'm not afraid of you. But I don't think that's his fight plan. I think he just wants to do that early, just to gain the guy's respect. He might do it too much, though.
Pena got caught with a shot on the inside, tries to counter back. Good action in round 1. From the palm, Pedro Pena, 21 years of age, has a 6-month-old son, Bradley.
Don't square up in the inside.
And his wife, Alma, got up every night, dealt with the screaming kid, so Pedro could train and get some sleep. Says if he wins this title, he'll give his son and his wife a share of the belt. Round number 2 underway in the scheduled 12-round IBF Flyweight Championship. Irene Pacheco in the red, making the 2nd defense of his title.
One thing that's been a little bit of a surprise here so far is Pacheco's been switching to orthodox a lot, Bob. He hasn't been, now he's back to southpaw. I think when he switches to orthodox, he takes away a little bit of that obvious southpaw advantage. And obviously the thing that he does best is fighting southpaw. When he keeps switching, he loses a little space in between. Every time he switches, he's killing a little bit of time. He's not doing one thing or the other. That has to be an advantage of the challenger. He wants to get as much confidence, as much free ride moments, so to speak, as he can get.
We asked Pacheco about Pena. He says, I know he has a good chin. I'll have to box him and use my pressure.
Pacheco's a fairly versatile guy. Everyone thinks he's just a walking guy, Pacheco. He's not. You can see that right now. He's concerned about distance. He's concerned about the jab. He's looking for counterpunch opportunities. He changed range right there. He's not just a walking guy. If you're just a walking guy, you might win a world title, but you're not going to keep it. You have to be a little bit more than that. Right now, you can see Pena's game plan again. He wants to get off and get out. Keep changing distance. It looks like he's trying to make sure Pacheco doesn't get his feet set. Pacheco's a guy, when he gets his feet set, he's a pretty good puncher, but he needs those feet set. And you can see Pena's moving around, trying not to allow. That was his fight plan. You can see it. Not allowing Pacheco to get those feet set under him. The only problem, Pena has a punch in between.
Posturing in round 2. Not a lot of punches landed.
This is where Pacheco should be pot shot, and he just did. He should time those movements, and he's trying to do that now. See, Pena's just moving right now. Pacheco don't have to go anywhere. He can just stay there, right there, and wait for the spots. Wait for the spots to zero in. And that's exactly what Pacheco's trying to do right now. Pena's got the right idea. Not letting Pacheco get set, but he's got to be able to punch in between. Right now, he's having trouble. When he punches, he reaches a little.
That's a slip. That's a slip by Pena. A lot of posturing in round 2. Welcome back to El Paso, Texas. Round number 3 underway between Irene Pacheco in the red and Pedro Pena in the purple. At stake, Pacheco's IBF Flyweight Championship. Flyweight, you asked? Those are boxers who weigh 112 pounds or less. Second defense for Pacheco. It's very interesting with these lighter weight classes, especially when you get below 130 or maybe 126. Guys, the top guys have to fight each other if they want to make any kind of a living. Or you have to go to like Thailand or the Philippines.
Yes, you're right. Absolutely. With the smaller weights, another thing with the smaller weight, they got to move up quicker. They can't take around them, take time and posture, get too many, confidence builders, because there's not that many guys around. They have to be able to fight. They're going to make a living in this business. They got to be able to start to test their skills with better fighters a lot earlier than the heavier weights do. Just not enough guys around. And most of the guys can fight. See, that's the thing. The heavier weights, there's a lot of guys, a lot of marginal guys, a lot of dead wood. For the smaller guys, if they're around for any period of time, most of them can fight. The smaller weight, better skills. That's why the heavyweights, like the guys we watched before, Journeyman type, and that was a terrific fight, our first fight. But they can last a little longer because the skill level's a little less. If they're wily, if they're experienced, they can last a little longer because the guys aren't quite as busy as the small guys and as quick as the small guys. The skill level's a little different.
And if you just tuned in, at least according to these 4 eyes at ringside, horrible decision. Ross Purity ended a draw against Frankie Swindell. In fact, one of the judges actually gave Purity 7 of the 10 rounds, despite the fact that Swindell outlanded him, outthrew him, landed cleaner shots, outjabbed him, everything else.
See what Pena's trying to do here, Bob? He was able to do it just a second ago. He's looking to move around, lull Pacheco to sleep a little bit, and then all of a sudden jump in and get out. Now here's what the fight's going to be, at least in my small estimation. Since Pacheco's going to have to try to time him coming in. Because Pena, being the shorter guy, has to reach to get in a little bit. Right there, Pacheco tries to time him coming in. Again, he's just missing. I think either Pena's going to have success doing this all night, or he's going to get nailed sooner or later. But he showed me that he's smart enough to feint every once in a while. Pena. Because if he just keeps coming in, Pacheco's going to time him. Sometimes he's got to put a little feint in there just to keep Pacheco off balance. You can fight that fight if you're not predictable.
We wondered if Pena might be a little dry, maybe not loosened up because of getting the gloves on late, slight delay, but he looks fresh. And fighting a pretty good fight against Irene Pacheco, the champion.
Tough round.
Get a look at the ring here at the Don Haskins Center in El Paso, Texas. And Irene Pacheco, Mambaco, squaring off against Pedro Pena, Pacheco's IBF Flyweight Championship. Very interesting fight. Through the first 3 rounds, we've had sort of a chess match, Teddy.
Yes, just now when there was a little delay, the referee made Pena go back to his corner, made his corner guy take some of the heavy Vaseline he had over the right eyebrow. Now, there's a reason why he had heavy Vaseline over the right eyebrow. Why don't you tell everybody why?
Well, because, as I said earlier, in his last fight, he got cut there against Mariano Gonzalez. And that fight was ruled a technical decision for Pena because he was ahead on the judges' scorecard at the time. An accidental clash of heads, but there is some concern, though, right, Ted? Even though they said there's no problem.
Oh yeah, that Vaseline was really heavy, so they can say what they want, but their actions prove how they're thinking. The referee made them take it off.
Take a look at punch numbers through 3 rounds, and both guys throwing about the same amount. Pacheco has landed a few more.
Yeah, Here's the fight plan again. It's really simple. You don't need me to size it up for anybody. The only difference right here is that Pacheco has switched to orthodox again. He's not going with the southpaw. I think that's a mistake. I think he should go for what he does, what got him the title. He's giving this young guy a little bit of chance to maybe get a little bit of an advantage by not having to deal with the southpaw. Here he is in his first title try. It's tough enough being in your first title try, but you have to fight a southpaw. Now he's fighting an orthodox fighter. Thank you very much, Mr. Pacheco.
Pacheco goes back to southpaw. Heady footwork obviously very important when a southpaw is squaring off against a conventional style fighter. Well, now Pacheco goes back to right-handed.
And maybe people are going to say, how come he's doing this? Well, maybe he thinks that Pena spent the last 7 to 8 weeks in training camp getting ready for a southpaw. To throw a little, wrench into the works. Making a mistake. Pena's beating him to the punch right now. And again, Pacheco's looking to time.
Pacheco got a right hand in on the ear. Throws a hook to the body. Pena looks to answer back.
Pena's shown versatility. We said it earlier. He's going to have to be able, we said it in our setup, he's going to have to be able to get in and get out. The key to this fight is whether or not he gets in clean. Pacheco's looking to nail him coming in. If he doesn't get his way, Pena might be able to steal some rounds. Pena's looking to steal this fight. So what he did at the beginning of the first round, Bob, as you can see, Pena pressed a little bit just to let Pacheco think that he wanted to fight that way, just so he'll get his respect. Now he's picking his spots.
Left hand to the chin landed by Pena.
Yeah, good choice there by Pena. He's throwing when it's the right time. That time, Pacheco was stepping back. He knew he had a chance to throw.
We're a third of the way through this IBF Flyweight Championship bout between Pacheco and Pena.
Updating Fox Sports News, Collingwood has been tipped by 9 points by Port Adelaide in the Ansett Carpet Football Park. The Magpies led by 3 points at half-time but faded after the break to suffer their second loss of the AFL pre-season tournament. Sydney has leapfrogged West Sydney to move into the top 6 of the NBL after winning the local derby at the Sydney Superdome. The Kings, led by 34 points by Kendrick Johnson, beat the Razorbacks 114 to 110. And Parramatta has pipped local rival the Northern Spirit in the National Soccer League. The Power won 4-3.
Fox Sports News, tonight with Cameron Williams. Continuing tonight, live and exclusive to Fox Sports, South Africa, England and Zimbabwe clash in a one-day triangular series. Live and exclusive, the one-day series continuing 6:30 tonight on Fox Sports.
They are the biggest names in Australian sport. All part of the commentary team that is second to none. Pat Rafter, Laurie Daly, Harry Kuehl, Wally Lewis, Shane Warne, Paul Harrigan, Wayne Carey, Glenn Lazarus, Phil Kearns, Wayne Grady. And introducing the latest addition to the Fox Sports team, Alan Border. Fox Sports, where legends are made and champions are crowned.
You know, they say never go straight back. Or the champion goes straight back and take that with you. That's what Mr. Pena says.
Round number 5 underway between Irene Pacheco and Pedro Pena. No knockdown so far in the fight. Fairly even bout. Very subtle movements by both guys. They've scored, they've moved away. Not a huge connect percentage for either guy. Take a look at the punch numbers in round 4. And you see very low percentage. In the first 4 rounds of this fight, Pena has landed just 1 of 43 jabs. And that one connect came in round 1. Hey, do you think the veteran Pacheco, the champion, the 28-year-old, at some point is going to look to open this up a little bit?
He's going to have to, but he's going to have to do it at the right time. If he's doing it inside the flow of Pena, if he's reaching and Pena's able to get out and counter him and do it at his tempo, then it's wrong. He's got to do it at the right time. Right now, he's looking too much for the one shot. He has to start using that jab. See, right now, he likes to talk sometimes about being the ocean and being the log. You don't want to be the log because you're going in with those who want you to go in. You're going out with those who want you to go out. Right now, it looks like Pena's the ocean, and he's trying to make a log out of Mr. Pacheco because he's gone by the time Pacheco's looking to punch.
39-38 in favor of Pena, says Teddy Atlas. I agree with your scorecard.
Just watch one. Oh, go ahead, Bob.
No, I agree with you at that round 3. I had it dead even. I know how I feel about those even rounds.
Starting to like him a little, aren't you? So this is where Pacheco's got to move those hands. That's where Pena wants to get out before it's too late. This is where Pacheco has to use that jab.
Exchange body shots.
Right here, he's got to use that jab. Not allow Pena to get in and get out at his beck and call when he wants to. And there he goes switching southpaw. He's wasting time switching southpaw here, back and forth from southpaw to orthodox. Pacheco back to an orthodox fighter again.
Eddie, I can't tell, but I think there might be some redness along the right eye of Pena, and I wonder if that right eyebrow is cut.
I think it is, and that's what we talked about earlier, why they had all that Vaseline up there. They could say what they want about the cut being healed, but after the last fight when he had that headbutt and he got busted up there, looks like that's starting to open maybe a little bit. Nothing serious yet.
Now, there is a cut along the right eye of Pedro Pena. Good lunging shot. Pena tries to answer. Irene Pacheco on the red, defending his championship for the 2nd time. Now the man has been down. Very even bout.
See, this is coming down here. Pacheco is looking again. The shorter man, Pena, one thing, he's using his legs. He's trying not to let Pacheco get set. He's done a pretty good job, but he has to reach a little bit to get in. Watch. He's a shorter guy, but he wants to come in. He's a little far off. He's got to reach, and that's where Pacheco's looking to time him coming in. There's a knockdown in this fight. It's not a big, risk on my part to say it would be scored by Pacheco most likely, and would be scored while Pena was coming in. That's what Pacheco's looking to do, nail Pena as he comes in. And that's where Pena has to be careful. Wants to pick his spots, but not show his hand when he's coming in from too far away. One thing Pacheco's not doing, he's not using that jab. In my mind, Pacheco should be using that jab a little bit, slowing down Pena a little bit. Just stabilizing Pena a little, like he's trying to do now. Just stabilize him and pick your spots.
If Pacheco has landed 13 jabs in the total fight, Pena's landed only 1. Pena rips off an uppercut here.
This is where Pacheco's going to have the advantage. Pena has to be careful in here that he doesn't get greedy. He wants to shoot, shine, and get out. Not stay there, because he's not the power guy. Pacheco's the power guy. Pena has shown that versatility, though, Bob, as we talked about at the beginning. And that's his best chance tonight. He knows that. He doesn't want to stand in front of Pacheco, but he's got to find a way to be effective offensively while he's fighting this kind of fight to survive.
There's also a cut on the left side of the head of Pena in the hairline. It's out of harm's way. It's not like the blood will run into his eye. It's actually above the ear.
And of course, the doctor, the referee, takes into account that it's not in an area where it's vulnerable, where you have to worry about as much damage as you would if it was around the eye. And the skull obviously sustain a little bit more damage than if it's in a facial area. Again, Pena scoring and getting out. One of the things Pacheco does wrong here is he's so anxious to get in there. And instead, he should just settle down, wait for Pena to come to him sometimes. Oh, there's a good left hand.
Halfway point of the bout. They get a look at Irene Pacheco, the IBF Flyweight champion of the world. Some other great champions have come out of Colombia, like Antonio Cervantes, and of course Pacheco's idol, Fidel Bassa, flyweight champion in the 1980s. He was a warrior, Teddy, and Pacheco wants to pattern his game after him.
Small country Colombia has had a real good amount, as you can see right there, of world champions, and of not only world champions, but real top fighters. As you mentioned, Antonio Kid Pambale Cervantes, tremendous junior welterweight champion of the world 2 times.
Round number 7 underway between Pacheco and Pena. Corner of Pena's had to do a little work, a little nick on the right eye, and also a cut in the scalp, left side of the head. One knockdown so far in the bout. Other guy has been hurt. Take a look at the jab numbers. Pacheco's at least trying. He's only landed 15. Pena 2 of 67. Pena actually went 4 straight rounds 2 through 5 without landing a jab.
You can see, at least in my eyes right now, I think this is a real important round. This is a round where it's a real danger. Pacheco taking control, really starting to take over here, I believe, in this round. This is a real telling round here. I think his strength starting to wear Pena down a little.
Low blow there by Pacheco.
This is a big round here, I think. You're going to tell how the fight's going to go in this round. The rest of the fight for Mr. Pena.
Is Pena doing the wrong thing here, Teddy?
Yeah, he is. He's staying, I think, a little bit too much. He's a gutsy guy, and he's trying to show that he can fight fire with fire a little bit. He feels the fight's starting to turn a little bit, and he's trying to make a stand here. But it might be a little bit with too much emotion, not enough judgment. You have to have judgment and heart.
Good short right hand on the inside by Pacheco.
Pacheco's looking to throw that uppercut, Bob, because he's got a shorter man leaning forward. So he's picking the choice of the uppercut as his choice of weapon right now. See, the key is not just to throw punches. Choose the right punch at the right time.
Pena missing. Pacheco countering and scoring.
That uppercut's going to come in here because Pena's staying right there where he's going to get hit with it sooner or later.
Why would Pena change his game plan? He's had a pretty effective fight so far.
I think he felt that the fight was changing a little bit, that Pacheco was starting to take a little control. He's a gutsy guy. He's a fighter after all. After you get away from all the skills and all the X's and O's, he's a fighter. So he figures, hey, I got to fight here. I got to be able to sort of kind of put down my mark a little bit. And sometimes that's the worst thing a fighter can do. He can be his worst enemy. Sometimes they can have too much heart.
Fans here in El Paso, Texas, starting the chant of Pena, trying to root on the American.
You know what? He's not doing too bad for himself, this gutsy little kid. And he's moving his head in between a little bit, just enough to avoid some of those big shots.
At stake tonight, the IBF Flyweight Championship. Irene Pacheco's belt against Pedro Pena. Bob Papa along with Teddy Atlas from El Paso, Texas. Glad you can join us for Friday Night Fights on ESPN2, presented by Miller High Life. Very interesting bout, although in the last 2 rounds you get a sense that Pacheco's strength might be wearing on Pena. You take a look at the numbers in round number 7. They both threw 96 punches, but Pacheco landed 27 to Pena's 10. No jabs landed for either guy in round 7.
Boy, you got the guy who's the challenger, who's not the stronger guy. He's pressing the fight. No doubt about that. You got Pacheco looking to nail him coming in, though. Knowing the mind of Pena, there might be a method to the madness of Pena. In his mind, he might be thinking, hey, I'm going to press him because I'm the guy who's gotten some distance, even though I'm the challenger. He's gone 10 rounds one time and 12 rounds one time, Mr. Pena, even though he's the challenger. The champion's never been past 9, Bob. Maybe Pena and his people are bargaining on that.
Well, we heard them say in between rounds, let's take this guy into the deep water.
That's what it would mean. That's exactly what they mean in their mind. Well, they're rolling the dice. See if they come up snake eyes or if they hit 7.
Teddy got it 68-66. Pacheco, I agree. We both have round 3 even.
This is where Pacheco should have an edge.
Real subtle bout, boxing match.
See, in one way, being inside serves Pena in certain ways, because he doesn't allow the taller Pacheco to have that range where he can catch him coming in and use that range, use those long arms. Pena just has to be careful to get nailed. He got nailed.
He got nailed, Teddy. He was leaning in. Pacheco looking to finish. Right hook inside, scored.
And he's staying on top of the stronger guy. See, the problem is here, Pena might throw 5-6 punches, but all Pacheco has to do is land that one. And all of a sudden the fight changes. He's the stronger guy. And he landed that uppercut. Pena's leaning in a little bit.
Pacheco has only scored one knockout past the 6th round. That came when he won the vacant IBF title against Luis Cox on April the 10th of last year, a 9th round stoppage. So normally Pacheco gets you out early. Final seconds of round 8. Pacheco trying to land the bombs and Pena hanging in.
Well, the champion shows he's just more than just a strong guy here. He's got the smaller guy on top of him. So what does he do? He doesn't stay there. He moves out, sets up the shorter guy, then comes back and pop. Nice setup there by the world champion Pacheco.
Round number 9 underway between Pacheco and Pena. No knockdown so far in the fight. Pacheco's power starting to take over a little bit over the last couple of rounds. And Eddie, you and I have given Pacheco, I guess, the last 4 rounds. He's landing the cleaner shots. Very close fight, though.
He's landing the cleaner, harder shots. That's the key here.
Punches through 8 rounds. 98-61 in favor of Pacheco. He's been a bit busier. He really stepped it up over the last couple of rounds, though.
Pena has a couple enemies against him here. He's a shorter guy, but he can't get inside like most shorter guys because he's not strong enough. And on the outside, he has to reach a little bit like that because he's got the shorter arms. So he gives the taller southpaw a chance to pot shot him as he comes in. So either way you look at it, Pena's fighting an uphill battle. He's got to be perfect. He's trying to do the right thing, getting angles here, trying to keep Pacheco from getting set. But when he throws, he feels the distance, he feels the range is a problem. He's always too far away, Bob, every time he's throwing. Look, every time he's throwing, he's reaching. Only good thing there, he didn't pay.
Midway point of round 9. Teddy, you know, we've talked about Pacheco being able to fight inside, fight outside. He's got power. I think we need to give his defense some credit, too.
Yes.
He's got enough movement in there to make him a tough target to hit.
He's not a walk-in guy. Usually not if you're a world champion, especially if you're going to keep that title.
His first bout in the United States. Said he had no problems coming here.
22 transfer fights from Colombia.
And 1 in Venezuela. He says he trained for difficult situations, so he's prepared.
I still think there's gonna be a spot you're gonna see where he's gonna catch Pena coming in. Right now, Pena, what he's doing well, he has to be careful here. You can just watch. He's got to keep his head on one side or the other as he's throwing in between. In other words, in between the offense, he has to make sure he makes a defensive move, which he's doing. Pena's doing right now. When he lays in the middle, he's got problems. You watch, he throws a couple, then he gets his head on the side.
Pacheco blocked those punches.
Yeah, Pacheco's looking for that uppercut. If Pacheco didn't get what he wanted there, Bob, even though he's the stronger guy, what did he do? He got it outside where he had distance again. He's decided right now, I want to be at a distance. That's what a champion does.
He reset. Yeah, Pacheco's never been past 9 till tonight. Underway with round number 10 between Irene Pacheco and Pedro Pena. And Pacheco's power starting to take over the corner of Pena, warning the 21-year-old Pedro that it's a close fight, but you've got to get busier. if you want to take this guy's title.
See, the problem there is he's having difficulty finding a way to get busy and still be responsible, not give up defense. He's having a lot of trouble because when he tries to reach in, he gets caught. He stays outside, he gets caught.
See the power punches. You see Pacheco has outlanded Pena in that category, despite the fact that Pena's thrown 120 more. Teddy, we have it, you and I have it, 6 rounds to 2 with 1 round even. I would suspect, though, the scoring probably a little bit closer than that, because early in this fight, I mean, the first 5 or 6 rounds, the rounds were very even.
Yeah, early on was not a lot to separate the guys. Right now, Pena's reaching in, but he's doing it at the wrong time. He's doing it when Pacheco's ready. There has to be a science to it. So he's reaching in, he's being aggressive. He's being like the bull, the matador is Pacheco right now. See, you can't just be aggressive. You have to have a little trick to get in. He's just walking in. Pacheco's able to defend.
So what does Pena have to do to vary the game plan up a little bit here late, try to turn this thing around a little bit?
One thing he has to do is, right now, every time he gets in, Pacheco has a defensive move for him, so he has to feint a little bit. Pena should feint a little bit, like that. He's trying it, then he's got to work off the feint, though. Feint, get Pacheco to move a little too soon, and then be able to time him when he moves. Looks like Pacheco's taking a little break this round. All defense this round for Pacheco. All defense. Look, he's just being a matador in there. That's what he's doing right now. He's picking spots, and he's moving off to the side. Coming Pena.
Maybe the scorecard in his head is the same as ours, which is dangerous.
Yes, it is. There's been a history of guys when they start to coast a little bit in the late rounds, like Mr. De La Hoya. All of a sudden, sometimes that can come back to bite you. Even though the other guy's not scoring, he's trying. Pena's trying right now. You can make an argument up to this point, even though nothing significant's been landed, you can make an argument to give Pena the round, because he's pressed it. You know, he hasn't really landed. He's pressed. He hasn't gotten caught.
But Pacheco is relaxed in this round. Pena's probably done enough to win the round, but not hurt Pacheco. Welcome back to the Don Haskins Center in El Paso, Texas. Round number 11 underway between Irene Pacheco and Pedro Pena. Pena picked up the action in round number 10, and now Pacheco will try to fight on the inside here. We're going to take a look at some punch numbers in round number 10. It's compiled by CompuBox. You see Pacheco landed 7 of 47. Pena 0 for 53. According to CompuBox, Teddy, you and I both gave Pena the round.
Yeah, because of the feel, because of the pace. He pressed the round. I know he wasn't really landing, and according to them, he didn't land at all. But he was pressing the fight. He was pressing the fight all the time, trying. In other words, like the old timers would say, if it wasn't for him, there'd be no fight that round.
Yeah, Pacheco really took that round off and just countered a little bit. Feet got tied up there.
And that happened with the southpaw in there with an orthodox fighter sometimes, because if front legs are right close, right on top of each other. Plenty of guts by Pena, plenty of guts, because he's outgunned here, Bob. He doesn't have any real pop in his cannons there, but he's got plenty of heart.
Pena has Mexican roots. Low blow by Pacheco, second warning.
Remember, Pena's the only guy in this bout that's been 10 rounds and 12 rounds. Champion's never been past 9.
Fans here in El Paso rooting for Pena, who fights out of Los Angeles.
Pena's taking chances now, fighting inside, because I feel he's behind. He has to. He's got to keep those hands moving. And he's got to make sure the head's on the side so he doesn't get nailed in uppercut. Going to have to put defense in there with the offense, which he's doing.
Pacheco just missed with one of those lefts.
And he missed because Pena moved his...
Whoa, Pena got tagged. He didn't keep his head to the side, as you mentioned, Teddy.
No, he didn't.
He languished pushed in the middle for a split second, and Pacheco made him pay.
He stayed there for 3 or 4 instead of 2. So you have to know your limitations. You now have to know how much time you have. He only had time for 2. He tried to make it 3 or 4.
Now, there's no standing 8 count, but that was a mandatory 8 count because Pena was held up by the ropes. That's ruled a knockdown. And Pena gets clubbed to the side of the head. There's the power of Pacheco.
Yeah, and the calmness of him. Look how selective he's being with his punches. Pacheco's going to nail him again.
And the 21-year-old Pena is down, and that is it. Referee Robert Gonzalez has stopped it. And Irene Pacheco defends his IBF Flyweight Championship as he stops a game, young, talented Pedro Pena in round number 11.
Yeah, he was rolling the dice, Pena, but he had no choice at that point. It was behind. You have to give it to him. He went out on the shield.
Teddy, you mentioned that Pena was doing a good job, but he had to remember to keep his head on the side. And in tight there, his head got lined up right in the middle of Pacheco for a split second, and the champion stopped him.
Yeah, with a right hook. Exactly. That's why I thought the champion should have stayed southpaw, because orthodox guys, they're not used to seeing that punch come from that angle. And it can be very effective. When he was turning orthodox, the champion, he was taking that weapon away from himself. But there he used it real well. And another thing, Pena threw 1 or 2 too many. You got it when you're fighting that kind of fight with a guy stronger. You got to throw just enough and then move before the guy comes back. He stayed there a little too long.
All right, Pena is still down. They have him laying on his back. He's being attended to by the ringside physician. And they're going to take the gloves off first, so he's moving. He's okay.
They're just being very precautious about this and doing their job.
And he is okay. They'll get him up in stages. He took some shots through this fight, especially late. The doctor will just let him rest, and then they'll sit him up on the stool before they allow him to stand.
Just using caution. Just doing it, as you said, in the proper steps here. Making sure he's okay before they get him up.
Hold him down with a little water. Well, he opened it up late.
Hey, he tried to win the fight. He didn't try to just say that he went 12 rounds. He took the chances to win the fight. And without taking the chances, he wasn't going to win this fight. And being that everything was up against him as far as the physical edges, he felt that was his only choice. And I'll tell you one thing, he acted like a fighter.
Colombia native Pacheco looking for his props, as they say. The fans here in El Paso not willing to give them to him. Pena's still down, talking with the doctor.
You want guys to fight smart. You want to do it within the realm of what's responsible. But sometimes when you're behind, the way Pena found himself, he only had 2 choices: survive or try to win. He tried to win.
He's got to be so disappointed as well. Now he's going to try to get up, I believe.
I was saying all along that as long as he stayed inside, you know, he was shooting craps a little bit. It was just a matter of which way it was going to come. Because he was in there with the stronger guy, and the guy was looking to time him.
Yeah, they're just going to cut the tape off the gloves. He appears to be okay. We'll keep our eye on that. But Irene Pacheco stopping Pedro Pena in round number 11. As we get a look at the judges' scorecards, Pacheco is up 97-93, 96-94, 96-94 on all 3 judges' scorecards. Thank you very much, Russell Peltz, boxing coordinator, bringing that over for us. So kind of in line. I had it 97-94 for Pacheco. So the judges pretty much in line with the way we had seen the fight through the first 10 rounds.
Exactly.
232 of round number 11, 13th consecutive knockout win for Irene Pacheco. All right, Teddy, we're going to take a look now at the first knockdown. Pena had his head on the side, but for just a minute, his head gets square in the middle with Pacheco.
Yes, exactly. He's inside with the stronger guy, and he leaves himself right in the middle, as you just talked about. He's not on the side anymore. Right now, he's on the side. He's okay. But for a split second, he throws 1 too many. He opens up, and when he opens up, when you open up with offense, there's always a chance you're going to get caught. And he was a little wide with those punches, and Pacheco was able to time that right hook right in between. And at the end here, Pacheco showed he's a good finisher. Real calm. The right hook, he's taking what's being given to him. The guy's walking in, he's walking him into punches, and he walked him right into that left uppercut. And the right hook just before that.
Yeah, I think the right hook right before that hurt him. So Pena is still down. The doctors continue to tend to him. He appears okay. Irene Pacheco stops Pedro Pena in round number 11. He defends his IBF Flyweight Championship.
Let's wait for good job. Good job. All right.
Welcome back to El Paso, Texas. In round number 11, Irene Pacheco stopped Pedro Pena to defend his IBF Flyweight Championship. That was stopped at 2:32 of round number 11 by referee Robert Gonzalez. Pena remained down for about 5, 6, 7 minutes. Finally got up. They offered him a stretcher. He said no, he'd walk off on his own accord. The 21-year-old suffers the first loss in his professional career. He is okay, and we move on to heavyweights now. Here in El Paso, a 4-round bout for you. Ryan Brisky and Ryan